This is the second short video about my friend Tommy Zeigler's appeal for DNA testing to the Florida Supreme Court. An appeal that has been denied by the Circuit Court and is opposed by Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. Tommy has been rotting on death row for 40 years. He was shot in the stomach, and his wife, her parents, and a store customer were killed in his store on Christmas Eve, 1975. There's a ton of information about the case on the internet, so I won't try to go into that now. My interest here is just to share with you some aspects of his appeal, which Attorney General Pam Bondi wants to ignore. She, unfortunately, just wants to execute an innocent man. I call it Merry Christmas, Tommy, from Pamela Jo Bondi. On page 6, and I'll show you the cover page. This is the cover page of her answer to Tommy's appeal. On page 6, there's a brief statement that says this: "We previously stated that the presence of Perry's blood on May's clothing did not prove that Zeigler was not the perpetrator, because if, and I emphasize that if Mays was involved in a struggle with Zeigler while in close proximity to Perry's bloodied body, it would not be surprising that Perry's blood ended up on May's shoes and pants during the altercation. Sorry, Ms. Bondi, you're dead wrong. Pun intended. Here's why. Look at this diagram of the crime scene. Here are the two bodies of the 4 that are in the store. This is Charlie Mays. This is Perry Edwards. They are at least 15 feet apart. Not only are the bodies at least 15 feet apart, they are separated by a rug rack. See this? That was a rug rack in Tommy's furniture store in 1975. Not only are the bodies at least 15 feet apart and they have that rug rack, I want you to look at their actual photographs of their dead bodies. This is May's body. It's a little difficult to see, but his shoes and his pants are soaked with Perry Edwards' blood. Now look at Perry Edwards' bloodied body. I know it's terrible to look at, but it's necessary, Mrs. Bondi, that you do look at these terrible pictures. She probably hasn't. There are 3 points I want to make about these 2 pictures that any objective person who believes in justice would see in a heartbeat. First, the bodies are not in close proximity. 15 feet is not close. Second, Charlie Mays, according to the state's theory, didn't enter the store until at least an hour or more after Edwards was killed. So how in the cat hair, and I emphasize that word cat hair because Charlie Mays also had cat hair on his shoes, indicating he had been in Tommy Zeigler's house that very night. Anyway, how could Charlie Mays have that blood soaked into his pants when the pool of blood around Perry Edwards, and I show it to you again, has no scuff marks? No scuff marks. So how is it that he has blood soaked into his pants that must have been dried? And third, there is no blood on Tommy Zeigler's pants. If they were scuffling, why wouldn't they both have blood on their pants? And yet Pam Bondi wants to execute Tommy Zeigler without doing any further testing of either men's clothing that would prove there's not a single drop of Perry Edwards' blood on Tommy Zeigler. The state doesn't care about justice. They would prefer to execute an innocent man.